Other Switchheads, welcome back. Kanan here once again for another review. And this time up I've got Super Cyborg for your viewing pleasures. And before we get there from here, why not subscribe to the channel for weekly reviews and sales videos? I think it's time. Engage. Well, it looks like the devs were hard at work creating rather than writing a story, and to be honest with you, sometimes it's better that way than to get bogged down in trying to tell a clever story that has some sort of meaning and the like. Sometimes you just want a solid gameplay and nothing else. But I suppose if you're still intent on a story somewhere along the lines, there's a little something on the eShop if you care to take a look. Alrighty then, so you start your game, you can pick your character, you can even modify it a tiny little bit, and you can also play in solo or co-op if you wish. So the game could be played in 1 or 2 player co-op, and also, there's really much differences there, is there? But I guess you can look slightly different, and colour is slightly different, is it? I can't tell. Okay, let's get on with it. Oh, difficulty. Let us stick down here, shall we? I hear the word Contra thrown around loads about this game, but I've never played the actual game Contra before. But I have played games that are kind of similar to it. As far as Super Cyborg goes though, you're dropped into the world with a gun and your wit. The controls seemed tight and I really had no issues with them. But the controls are actually pretty simple. You jump and all that lot, then you can sort of like have this power shots like that. And then basically just hold the fire button down and, well, you just fire constantly, which is useful. But you can also fire in all the directions. It is a bit fiddly to start with, but you do get used to it. Apart from the downward, sort of like a crossfire, it's really difficult. Ooh. And it is pretty tight, but you do actually get used to it after a while, luckily enough. With 3 levels of difficulty, I chose easy and found that it needed another level of difficulty called even easier. My ass was not just handed to me, but served up on a plate with a side of chips and some HP sauce. But still, I trudged onwards, battling the alien scum. Trust me when I say this, the struggle is real. This is a real hard game. And yeah, it will test your patience a lot. I know it tested my patience a hell of a lot. Oh, crap. So, yeah, there you go. It's just frustrating sometimes, but not in like the way that you're just going to, I don't know, throw your console out the window, luckily enough. Although I did almost bend it a few times. Not good, eh? The levels seemed short, tight, but trust me, hard as. There's platforming and different angles of play, side on, top down, going in other directions. The weapon is pretty good, even though my thumb hurt after holding the fire button down constantly. The power up button was used a lot less than I actually thought I would. But the alternative weapons from shooting down orbs I felt changed your gun enough to actually feel different. The gameplay to me almost has a Dark Souls feel to the progression. Start a level, die loads and loads until you have learned where all the enemies are and how to defeat or avoid them. Then reach the bosses and die again, then fight your way back time and time again until you have learned their patterns to defeat them too. And the first time you see some of these bosses, you kind of almost panic, which causes you to die over and over again. They are quite neat, to be honest with you. This one's a bit weird. In fact, they're all pretty weird, and I like that. I really do like the weirdness. The bosses are as solid as the normal gameplay and as strange and weird as they come, and I love them for it. Some of them have multiple layers to destroy, and some are like, well, mid-bosses, then another a bit later on in the level. Add to all this power-ups that change your weapon fire rate and type of fire, like kind of like lasers, and those ones where you have like 3 shots all at one time from one blast. The chances of you running through this entire game easily is pretty slim. In fact, I remember quite a few times I was gripping my handset in such frustration that I kind of felt like if I'd gone any further I would have bent it in half. I kind of almost felt sorry for my Switch. I almost had to say sorry to it. But all said and done, I was really intensely loving this game. At no point did I want to give up. And it was a fine balance of hardcore gameplay, fun shooting, and short enough levels to start remembering placements to slowly make progress. As you can see, the game is very retro looking, and I appreciate the effort that's gone into this one to give it that proper feel. I, however, did not like the screen following you up platforms. Then if you drop down or fall off a platform, it would actually kill you off, even if there was a platform underneath you before. Okay, so there is a platform just below me, and I honestly don't know why this is a thing, but now if I drop down, I can't actually drop down to the lower level, which is weird. As for the audio, it has had as much love given to it, with its music, sound, and feeling authentic to the times they are trying to replicate. The good. Hard gameplay, but the right balance of it. Looks and sounds great. Weird bosses. Power-ups, well, they're always good, aren't they? It's just a great game to play. The bad. It's a little bit short. Very short. Maybe too hard for some as well. Frustrating is not the word at times. I had to stop because my thumb felt numb. Honestly, numb. It's crazy that this little game invoked so much feeling and emotion from me that I had no choice but to give it a 4+ out of 5. A roller coaster of a game that I recommend to anyone who likes or loves this genre, and even for those who want to start their journey into this genre. And so, while I look for my alternative, I know I left it here somewhere. Why not, if you've enjoyed this content, or you just find yourself watching quite a few of my other content, subscribe, as I release content every single week in the form of reviews and sales. And don't forget to hit that like button, as it really does help small channels like mine grow. Aha! Here is my alternative, and it's going to be Contra, the Anniversary Edition. And by the looks of it, it has plenty of content for all you, well, Contra lovers out there, I guess. But if you've got a better alternative for this Contra-like game, which I'm guessing you probably don't unless it's another Contra game, leave it down below. Why not? And also, any questions or your thoughts on Super Cyborg, leave it down in the comments as well. And also, don't forget, if you want to continue the conversation, bring it to the community Discord. The link is down below, because life is better when we switch together.